Good day, everybody. I'm Dr. Darrell Wolfe, and this is the Doc of Detox show. And you know the old saying, the show must go on? Yes. Well, my friend and partner of the Hope for Cancer show is Dr. Tony Jimenez, and he is in Osaka, Japan. And he truly wanted to be on the show, but some things came up, so he was unable to be on the show. So I guess it's just me and you. That's it. Okay. And today we were going to talk about emotions and cancer. So I'm going to touch on that, but we will have the show a month from now. Okay. So 4 weeks from now, we will be on with Dr. Tony Jimenez, and we will be doing his point of view about emotions and cancer. But out of respect to all you viewers, we advertise this. It will not do that we do not show. Okay. So first of all, I want to thank you for joining me today, and understand that all your questions matter. That's why we have an 800 number, 888-570-9445. And because it's about us, me and you can ask me any questions you want today, okay? So feel free if you want to call in if you have any questions, all right? Okay. So today's show was about how emotions are involved in cancer. Let me start off with something for you, okay? And this is it. Even though I was in the health business and I was already dealing with cancer when my parents actually got cancer, I'm going to tell you a couple of stories. I'm going to tell you 3 stories about my grandfather, about my father, and about my mother, okay? When I was approximately 19 years old, we got a phone call. And my grandfather, okay, we were told that he had rectal cancer. Okay, so now just understand something. To have rectal cancer means that there had to be a lot of rotting and putrefaction of waste material, because there's no way that you can have any type of cells mutate in any part of your body unless there is at least over 30% oxygen deficiency that's carried on for a long time. And if you ever went into a barn where there's a lot of manure, you'd find it hard to breathe, okay? Because actually, putrefaction and waste actually will eat up the oxygen, okay? So they'll eat up the oxygen whether it's in the air or whether it's in your tissue cells. And we know that Dr. Otto Warburg proved that if you have contamination and putrefaction long enough and strong enough, and it brings down, I think it's 32%. If it brings the oxygen levels down by 32, 33% for long enough, then what happens is a cancer cell, okay, will develop. And the reason why is the cells go, I don't want to die. So they have a choice. You know, they can either die or they have to change into something else. If there's not enough oxygen, if there's not enough minerals and enough nutrients, okay, and the proper vibration to actually keep the cells healthy, right? They'll either die or they have to mutate. We call it mutation, but they're actually just like a chameleon. They're having to change to their environment. And what that is if there's no oxygen in the environment, they have to become a cell that no longer needs to actually live on oxygen. So what do? They live off what there's a lot of when you have putrefaction and contamination and inflammation in the body, and that's lactic acid. And then cancer cells will actually produce lactic acid so that they produce their own food, so that they can generate eventually their own circulatory system, so that they can live on their own and be a foreigner within the body. They really don't want to associate with the body, because they're a foreigner with the body. So they create their own circulatory system. And what they'll do is they'll grow bigger and bigger and bigger. The more lactic acid they get, the more sugar, the more gluten, the more inflammatory thoughts you have, because everything's about frequency, right? Okay. So anyways, that's it. I mean, everybody makes at least 10,000 cancer cells a day. I mean, that is a normal thing. It's when you're making too many of them. And it's when everything is out of control, and then they start dividing, and there is just no parameters or immune system to keep things in check anymore. Okay, all right. So let's go back here. So that we know that cancer is a physical thing, but is it really a physical thing? We know that there's been many studies done and that cancer, the actual genome of cancer, can be turned off and on with frequency. That's right. So everything is a frequency and it turns it on like a switch and it can turn it off like a switch. All right? Now, before we go any further, I would like to talk about this. We're going to go back to my grandfather. So when my mother and I actually found out that he had colorectal cancer, you know, we just think that people, back then, we used to think that people just got cancer. Because back then, doctors were saying, oh, well, they still say it today, that food makes no difference. Your lifestyle makes no difference. It's just the luck of the draw. Now, they actually believe this, and in actuality, they really do. They're lying to you. But the problem is that when you've been lied to enough, you know, lies become the truth. And I don't know about you, but do you ever notice how people accept lies a lot easier than the truth today? Like, you know, that you have the power to heal. Most people don't believe that anymore because they've been programmed to the point that they forgot who and what created them. And so you are only going to be as healthy as your beliefs. You heard what I said. You're only going to be as healthy as your beliefs. And I'll tell you, back then when I was 19 years old and my mother was already a full-blown alcoholic, okay, but she truly did love me and she truly had a beautiful heart. But it's just some of her beliefs were so toxic, right? But then her father was an alcoholic too. My grandfather used to like to have at least 6 beers every day. And the best way to get rectal cancer is to have beer every day because beer is rotten to begin with. And I know people are going, no, it's not. Well, yes, it is. Okay, it rots in the body. Okay, have you ever smelt a beer fart? Seriously, let's get over it. Okay, so understand something. A lot of people will have gas attack from the fermentation from the beer. Now, understand this, that my grandfather, okay, he had no idea that that was doing it to him. Okay, so understand, people are not dumb. People are not stupid. They've been programmed to where they haven't been given the information and told that if they do this, they're going to get this. And if they don't do this, they're not going to get this. When we heard that my grandfather had colon cancer, he came to live with us. He lived in Newfoundland. He had just retired. And anyway, so he came and he said, oh my gosh, you know what? I don't think he went to the bathroom like 10 or 12 days or something like that. He was in terrible pain. We put him in the hospital. Okay. And guess what? They never took the impaction out. Okay, so we were going in every day. He was there for like 6 days, 7 days, and he still hadn't gone to hadn't had a bowel movement. They were giving him laxatives, but the thing is do you ever see how tight the cork is in the wine bottle? Well, guess what? This fecal matter is so dehydrated and so packed that it's not going to come out. And I'm going to tell you something right now. You give me a person that has a chronic disease, and if they can't urinate or they can't go to the bathroom, they're not getting well. They're going down, okay? That not being able to get rid of your urine or get rid of fecal matter, okay? I don't care what you're going to do for yourself, but those two things, you know, you need the plumbing to be working properly and you need the sewage system to be working properly, because if that doesn't happen, it becomes a cesspool. And understand something. If we actually created the perfect day in every way in what we eat and drink and think, you're not going to have cancer. You're going to live a long and healthy life. But today, okay, all right, people are what? They're living longer, but they're also dying longer. Do you understand? So let's just really say like it is. They're living shorter and dying longer, because the average person today, the majority, okay, the last 12 to 15 years is spent in pain and suffering, okay? And then when we see that 50% of the population is going to get cancer, well, that's not true. That's just a statistic. And you know what? I will never be a statistic because I'm not part of the majority. I'm not part of the herd. I broke away from the herd. I broke away from the majority. So don't look at me to fill any of your stats, okay? I'm a 63-year-old man and I don't fill any stats, almost 63. I don't fill any statistics because I broke the rule when it comes to that, because I don't follow the herd. I don't follow the majority. I don't go to medical doctors. I don't eat processed foods. And I make sure I drink structured water. And I make sure that, guess what? That I fill my heart up every day with love from me, so that I'm not going around getting upset with my family, my loved ones, or the world saying, you were supposed to love me. You were supposed to heal me. Well, understand something. As far as I'm concerned, you can't give what you don't have. And if you don't have total love for yourself, you can't give total love to anyone else. And if you don't have total love for self, you're never going to have total healing. I'm not saying that you wouldn't be totally healed, but it's going to come back. Because when you're trying to use willpower or force, it's exhausting. Okay? Understand something. Okay? In the universe, love is the greatest vibration. On planet Earth, self-love is the greatest vibration that then emits love to everyone else. But you can't miss the first step. And I'll tell you right now, take a look at people you know, but then it'll be hard, won't it? Because if you're like the majority, we know that you don't totally love yourself. You don't totally unconditionally love yourself and the rest of the world. I know you don't do that because you're not programmed for that. But take a look at people that are sick. Understand something. To have a disease, okay, you have to have a sick body, you have to have sick thoughts first. And I don't mean you're sick. I mean that your beliefs are dysfunctional, that you don't think you're good enough. You don't think you have the power to heal. You don't understand your capabilities because, like I said, you are only going to be limited by your beliefs. And I'll tell you something. So my grandfather, who had cancer, he was very limited by his beliefs. I'm not going to go into it right now. But he went to the hospital. They never got the waste moving. So, of course, the pain never went away. So he's in reeking pain, and they're giving him codeine. They're giving him Oxycontin. They're really numbing him out and dumbing him out. He didn't even know who we were by the 5th day we were there. So we decided to take him home. So guess what? Here's me, 19 years old. Get ready for this one. So we're actually had to go in and actually get that dried fecal matter out of his rectum. I'm not going to go into that in detail, okay? You have no idea how that smelled. You have no idea. It smelled like death, okay? It was one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life to do this. But then we finally did that, and then we went on Gerson Clinic, and we found out how to do an enema on him, which I've never done before. Then we started doing coffee enemas on him, and you would not believe the color that came back, the energy that came back, okay? And then how he was really starting to feel, and his whole pain dropped right away. So go ahead. You know, people that are on cancer, they get all kinds of painkillers. Well, guess what? They either got blistering diarrhea or they've got total constipation, which is just totally going to bring them down. So here, that's the whole thing, you know. The large intestine is the mother of all organs. It's 80% of your immune system. And whether you want to believe this or not, your good bacteria talk to your brain 12 times, and your brain only talks to your good bacteria once. Your bacteria are the most intelligent part of you. You know, a lot of you, if I said to you, where's your mind? You would say, well, my mind is right here. And I'm going to tell you, did you never have a gut feeling? Your true consciousness is in every cell of the human body. It's in every bacteria of the human body. Okay, your spirit has been infused into these 50 trillion cells in your body, and into these 500 trillion bacteria. You have 10 times more bacteria than you have tissue cells. And your life force is vibrating in all of these. That's the intelligence. You know, your body, the human body is not a noun, it's a verb. Do you understand what I'm saying? Because it is, the whole thing is all live and in action. I mean, if you take a look at the medical system and you go to become a medical doctor, what do you learn about health from? You learn from cadavers, right? Dead people. Well, why would you want to learn about life and healing and go do it from dead people? That's not where you're going to learn, okay? So it's all just kind of backwards to me. So anyways, we got my grandfather feeling better, and that's really what got me started into health. I'll just tell you a little story. Once that happened, I was just like, I'm 19 years old. But by the time I'm 21, guess what I am doing? I'm actually hitchhiking to Gary, Indiana, and to take the Dr. Woods course to become a colon therapist. So I started off really early. So, you know, it was very traumatic that my grandfather got cancer. Eventually, he died of the cancer, but he found peace, right? He did not die in pain because we took responsibility and we helped him to show him how he could stay out of pain and that it had to be done on a personal level. So I hitchhiked to Gary, Indiana, and I become a certified colon therapist. So that was the beginning of my adventure. Because of my grandfather's illness, see, we can always find celebration there. So he helped to awaken me, right? Anyways, I'll tell you about my mother and I'll tell you about my father in a bit here. But let me break away from this for a second. I will tell you right now that you can give me a person that eats totally organic, drinks structured water, takes all the nutritionals, and if they run a self-hate program, then it will undermine everything that they do physically. Because frequency overrides everything else, nutrition. Okay, so what I'm trying to say is emotion, energy and motion, your emotions, will override everything that you do in a physical level. Okay, we can make people feel better on a physical level quicker than emotionally because our emotions are created. We're either creating well, let's put it this way. All your prominent beliefs that are stored in your subconscious will not change overnight. You need to understand that the art of taking back your life is repetition, it's rehearsal. And the art of taking back your life is understanding that there is no failures. There's only one failure in life, and that is when you stop, when you actually stop living your dream, living your goal. You know, if I fall down about something, I'm just going to get back up and go. I mean, everybody else, I don't care how many people can say, oh, he failed at that. I didn't fail at that. I only failed at that if I stopped. So never give up on yourself. Never give up on your dreams. Never give up on your goals. And don't you ever believe that cancer is bigger than you, because it's not. It's only bigger than you when you are smaller than you are. And that can only happen when your beliefs limit you, when you're not good enough, when you don't believe you can heal, when you don't deserve to heal. Go ahead. Carry guilt around. Make yourself into a sinner. Find out how well you heal. Or make God responsible, that which created the whole universe, that created your body. Make God responsible for your healing. See how that goes. So I want to talk about, there's 4 different types of people. And this all has to do with emotions as well. You know, everything has to do with emotions. Let me lay the groundwork for those of you who haven't watched my shows. We are 7 billion particles. You get that? Now, those 7 billion particles, okay, they're not even touching, but you think that this is a physical body. You think this is the real part of me. Well, this is not even 1% of me. The biggest part of me is my spirit, which I came in with, okay, which I will leave with. And, you know, when you say, oh, wow, that person's so spirited, they've got great spirit, they're going to heal. Well, guess what? If you're not going to feed the spirit, the body will die. The body will get sick, all right? So if everybody understood that every particle in your body is 99.999999996 empty space, then you'd understand the greatest part of you is light, energy, and frequency. That's right. Okay? And at the way that you imagine yourself, the way you imagine your world, and the things that you think about will either lighten up or they will create a heavy load and create darkness in your life. Okay? So understand this. Do emotions matter? Okay, I'm going to tell you they're going to matter. There's 4 different types of people I'd like to say. The first person, okay? The first person they don't believe in themselves and they have no faith in a higher power. Well, that person is lost, okay? That person is not going to get well no matter how much you love them. So no matter how much you know that natural therapies help, no matter how much you believe in self-care, self-love, self-respect, if that person doesn't believe in themselves or a higher power, they're not going to get well. You will make headway with them, but it's like this. They're going to keep sliding back. Then you've got another person, and that's the person, okay, that has faith in a higher power, but they don't believe in themselves. Well, guess what? That's like flipping the coin, heads or tails. It could work out for you, or it may not work out for you, because God, your creator, Jesus, whoever, whatever you believe in, okay, yes, it is important. But the reality is, if you don't believe in yourself, it's called teamwork makes the dream work. And you're not going to have this work unless you are working hand in hand, right? So you might get well and you might not. You might get well, but you're not going to stay there. You can't make the responsibility of your health, wealth, and happiness to your creator or anything or anyone else. Then you have people that believe in themselves but do not believe in a higher power. Now, a lot of you aren't going to believe this, but I've seen it work where you're still rolling the dice, okay? But I've seen it work where people that believe in themselves, I know, please don't get bent out of shape on this one. They believe in themselves, they actually get well faster and stay there than they believe in themselves and they're not putting all their faith into a higher power, and they still get well. Because you are the master of your body. And I believe that which created the whole universe just loves us unconditionally anyways and wants the best for us. And I believe that we have everything to heal ourselves, but we need to take action. There's the missing ingredient. And you have to get rid of the dysfunctional beliefs that actually created the disharmony, the disease, the disrespect that you have for yourself. Cancer is not something that you just step in like walking through a cow field, okay? It's not like something you just step in, all right? You believe it or not, it takes a lot of work to be sick, okay? It's a lot easier to love yourself than to hate yourself. And believe it or not, we may not be doing it on a conscious level, but we are running self-hate programs on an unconscious level, but you'd never notice them because the rest of the family, the rest of the city, the rest of the country, the rest of the world, the biggest population, the biggest part of the world is actually doing it all the time. If they weren't doing it, why does 80% of the population have autoimmune disease? Why does 1 out of 2 people get cancer as long as they believe they're a statistic and follow the herd? Why is it that 80% of the population is overweight, 60% of the population is obese? Why is it that now that 30% of high school children are overweight and obese? Okay, so that's the reality. Why is it that when you know that sugar is a poison and acts like heroin on your body, and that flour is not good for you, and alcohols and smoking and prescription drugs are toxic and they even can kill you, why are you still doing them? Why aren't you going and moving towards nature and creating a higher vibration so that you can heal yourself? Well, because it's your beliefs. Those beliefs make and shape you. If you want a different reality, well, you better change parts of your personality. You get that? And guess what? The same beliefs that created the cancer are not going to get rid of it. So you better bring in a new strategy, a new program called what? Self-love, self-honor, self-respect, self-care. Those are the 4 pillars right there. But here's the deal. So we talked about no faith, no belief. We talked about faith and we talked about belief. What if somebody has faith and belief? Well, there's the game right there, isn't it? What if you totally, unconditionally loved your creator and you totally, unconditionally loved yourself? What if you didn't make yourself guilty when things didn't go right or you made a mistake, but you learned from them? How long should you feel guilty? And should you put yourself in judgment jail for an hour, a week, a year? Should you punish yourself to the point that you go and leave this planet with cancer to prove to everyone that you're just so sorry for not being good enough? People can say what they want, okay? But I will tell you, there is a lot of systems out there, and there are some religions too that I wouldn't touch with a 10-foot pole, because guess what? Anything that makes people feel small, anything that makes people feel like a sinner, anything that makes people feel guilty, okay? That's not going to be great for anyone. Okay, are there sins? okay, in a dictionary, it's called missing the mark. Okay? Are there people with beliefs on this planet that I don't care for? Yes. But understand something. How many different people have used religion, okay? Okay? And then used it to go to war? I say, you know, it says in the Bible that you should love your neighbor as you love yourself. I say until you totally love yourself, don't think about loving your neighbor. Okay? I say that yes, emotions matter, but and feelings matter, but how you feel about yourself and the emotion that you have in your body. Because remember something, the E in emotion stands for energy in motion. Okay? Einstein stated, okay, with his theory, E equals mc squared. So we know that energy creates matter out of thin air. That's all that means. I hope you know that. I hope you do know that every food and every bit of drink that you put in your body leaves your body. The only thing that stays behind is the frequency and the light energy. So is it what kind of food is it? Is it vibrating at a high level or a low level? So of course, if it's vibrating at a higher level, it's going to bring up your spirit. It's going to bring up your vibration. And we know that you can turn cancer off through frequency, vibration. So understand this. The drink that we take in, the food that we take in, it brings in what? Energy, hopefully, and communication and information. But what is that information and communication? What if it is disrupted? What if it's a GMO? What if it's a chemical? Okay? What if it was actually handled by people that, didn't do nice things to it? Why would you be buying those foods? Why is it that go to Costco, go to any store you want, and then take a look at what goes into most people's baskets, most people's trolleys that they're put their food in, okay? If you were to follow me around, you'd see no boxes, no bags, very little, and it would mostly all be fresh and raw, or it would be from the plant family. I'm not big on vegetarianism. I'm big on whole plant-based foods, whole plant-based diet. Everything about high vibration is, there's a lot of vegetarians that aren't well either, okay? All right, so let's get back to this whole emotional thing. So we know that the E stands for energy and motion. We know that energy can create matter, okay? All right, so let's take a look at it. We see everything in an image, okay? You are the director. You're the editor. You are the producer. And you are the leading star of this movie that you call your life. That's only if you choose to be. It's like, do you want to be the co-pilot in the plane? Or otherwise your body? Or do you want to be the pilot? The pilot is the one that says, I'm going to train myself how to master my body and to create the perfect day in every way from the minute I wake up until I go to bed. Okay, so here we go. We see everything in an image. We see everything just like a movie. So what is the image you have of yourself? What is the image you have of your children? What is the image you have of society? What is the image you have of the world? All of this matters, okay? Because your brain never sleeps. It keeps going. What are the thoughts? Do you ever sit back and take a look at what the thoughts are going through? And understand the negative ones, the bad ones, they're not you. The authentic you is beautiful. It's total love, okay? If you have a disease, then you have dysfunctional thinking. And that dysfunctional thinking was not created by you. It was given to you. Don't accept the gift. Let's get rid of it. But you have to know how to erase and replace beliefs, or you can't change your personality to change your reality, to bring up the frequency, to turn off the disease. So we start with an image. With every image, we create a thought. So now we have the thought. That thought, it creates an emotion, doesn't it? So me believing and seeing that I can heal myself and being grateful for everything I have and being grateful for everything I've learned, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We learn from it. We come down here to experience every emotion on this planet from A to Z. We came down here to experience hate. But if you got your wheel caught in hate, it's going to take you down. It's going to eat you up. I've hated. Okay, I've had guilt. I felt like a sinner. Okay, I've been depressed. Okay, I've been remorseful. I've had joy. I've had bliss. I've had happiness. And now I understand that the image I have for myself is the main thing that creates my thought. And that thought, if it's in bliss or if it comes, like, you only have two emotions on this planet, hate and love. So if it comes, it's got to come under, if it comes under love, which would be happiness, bliss, joy, contentment, then my vibration's going to be up. So the thought creates actually, okay, the emotion. The emotion actually creates the frequency. The frequency actually decides, is it going to dump what? Healing and chemicals and healing hormones, or chemicals and hormones that are going to tear you apart. So with every negative emotion you have that you can't process properly, you're going to trigger the making of cortisol, adrenaline. And what if you run this program all the time and you never ever really find inner peace? You never truly believe that in yourself. You never totally love yourself and have faith in your creator. Then that means you're going to be running fear. It may be on the back burner. It may not be in the forefront, but just keep on trickling cortisol and adrenaline into your body, which is the fight, flight, freeze response. And what's going to happen is you're going to create inflammation. Aren't we an inflammation nation? Okay? And inflammation only goes to mutation. And let me show you. So the chemicals that are toxic, that are not good for you, remember something. If you're going to dump adrenaline and cortisol, that's for a flight or fight. There's a tiger on your tail, but that's used for the next 3 to 5 minutes. But anything more than that, you're going to destroy the body because you cannot ramp up. Okay? Because the adrenaline gives you this unbelievable burst of energy, but it will tear your body apart if it's more than 3 to 5 minutes. Why do you think that people that are terrorized and they have such high anxiety, they don't feel any pain? Soon as that really authentic terror that's in their life, or the illusional terror, leaves, you'll find them in bed. You'll find them sick, because sickness is actually not a sickness. When somebody's sick, that's the body trying to heal itself. That's right. But the longer and the stronger you run dysfunctional beliefs, and the more you run, the sicker you're going to be. And you're going to have pain, inflammation, and swelling. And that will last as long as it needs to heal the body. So when you've been in terror for too long. Okay, so now if we have negative thoughts, we're dumping negative chemicals. Those negative chemicals are adrenaline and cortisol. Let them keep coming. You can't be constricted and like this. Do that and continually do it, and you'll be locked into it and you won't even know it. You'll think it's normal. How many people they just crave, okay, anxiety. They do. They're waiting for an anxiety moment. They're so addicted to it because they're actually addicted to the adrenaline and the cortisol rush. What kind of rush are you looking for? So now that adrenaline and cortisol goes into the body, even if it's dripping in slowly because of this perceived terror, and it creates what? Inflammation. And that's why we're so sick today. And do thoughts matter? Do emotions matter? I don't know. Do you watch the news? If you watch the news every night, oh, I just want to become worldly. Oh, really? Okay. So they're going to put the worst things that ever happened in the world every day in 35 minutes to 45 minutes. And that's called real? So then you're going to go to bed and have nightmares. You wonder why you can't digest your food. You wonder why you're moody. You wonder why the world doesn't look like a great place. Well, what do you focus on? Where's your focus? And understand something. Your beliefs become the lenses you see through. So if you believe the world is a scary place, you're going to look for things to confirm that. So you're going to watch the news. If you believe the world's a beautiful place, then you're going to look for beauty. And you're not going to go and vibrate at a level of watching TV and the crap that's on TV and the news. And you're not going to listen to the gossip from your sister, your mother, your brother. And you're not going to listen to them putting anybody down or looking to hate someone. Aren't we the generation that looks to hate someone right now? Right? Let me see, what color of people do I hate? What religion do I hate? What food do I hate? What government agency do I hate? Where's your focus? It better be on love. And it better be on self-love, because you need to start observing how your mind works. And who's really responsible for your health but you? Who's responsible for filling your heart up with love? You. And then you use that love to shine on everyone else. So let's get back to those chemicals that are creating all that inflammation in your body. They're now creating scar tissue, because the cortisol and the adrenaline that you're pumping and all that lactic acid, right? Oh man, I get heartburn all the time. Oh, I get headaches all the time. Oh, I get cramps in my stomach. Oh, I get night pains when I sleep. Oh, I got restless legs. Oh, it just goes on and on. I've got insomnia. I can't sleep. I need a breathing mask. You know what? Insomnia and all sleep troubles are because you're terrorizing yourself throughout the day. And you're burning up your nutrition, you're burning up your oxygen, and you're frying out your nervous system. So even though you're exhausted, you can't sleep. So anyway, so now this inflammation is creating all this scar tissue. Let me tell you something. We have never been so full of scar tissue. This is not from surgery, what I'm talking about. This is the scar tissue we're creating by the terror that the media, the corporations, the medical system love to do to us. Our government, come on, our government. They're not our government. They're the corporation's government. They're the corporation's puppets. Come on, anybody that was true government that we've put in, do you think we'd say, hey, tax the heck out of us and promote alcohol? And they really do. And selling cigarettes, they should never be making money off of them, right? And where's really the support we're supposed to be getting from all these agencies? Okay, so I don't want to go down that road. I'm just trying to tell you that you can't hate them. They're probably never going to change. They never have changed. Man has been at war with himself since the beginning, and he'll continue to do that. So the only peace you're going to find is called inner peace. So anyways, now these chemicals are creating this beef jerky, and you heard what I said. Hey, Grandpa, what's wrong? You look in pain. He doesn't feel any pain. He's all scar tissue wrapped around his nervous system because he was in pain for so long. The body created scar tissue from the inflammation. He doesn't feel anything anymore, but he walks like a board. How about the people you see that waddle? You know what I mean? They waddle. They waddle like a duck. That's because they're so frozen. You get a person that has scar tissue in their knee and their ankle, all right? Calcium deposits in their gallbladder, in their kidneys, calcium deposits in their breasts. This is all inflammation. And the calcium's being pulled out of the bones and it's collecting. That's precancerous state. Yeah, gallstones are a precancerous state. Kidney stones are a precancerous state. Just like toenail fungus is a precancerous state. And how many people have it? Because if you got it in your toe, you've got it right throughout your intestines. And we know that cancer is a fungus. But I'm not saying that cancer is caused because of fungus. Some people believe it's caused because of parasites. Some people believe that it's caused because of bad bacteria. And I'll tell you, the bad bacteria, the worms, and the fungus, they all come to the parasite party. So who really causes it? I don't know. I think it's our emotions. I think that it's our emotions because on a frequency level, that's what we are. We're light energy frequency beings. Okay? So now you've got all the scar tissue in you, and all the scar tissue throughout the body because of the inflammation, because your body will make this fibrin called scar tissue because there's damage in certain organs or certain joints. So it wants to wall off the inflammation that's in there because that's your weak link. But then it makes too much scar tissue. And then that creates a dam. So now you cut off the circulation. You cut off the oxygen. Look at today, we worked on 3 pelvises. Okay? Anybody over the age of 30, 35 has so much scar tissue, calcification, crystallization in their groin, which is shutting down the main area for hormonal production. Okay? And nobody talks about this. You know, you can have a fibroid in your pelvis, okay? And fibroids happen with men and women. It's just that we don't call them with men. But, you know, I work on men, and you'll see we will be working on the size of a small orange on most men that come in here with bladder problems, prostate problems. And we have to pull this scar tissue and calcification all apart. Because if we don't, we can't get the circulation in to get the balance. So you can take all the nutrients you want, and you can switch to a well-balanced diet and get all the intravenous and everything you want. But if you don't pull apart the fibroid and and get the calcium back into the bones, which our SAC calcium will do, and get on our humic fulvic products that will put in 60 to 70 minerals and draw up all that acidity, okay, and help everything to balance, then we're just not going to get there. So we use Wolfe Deep Tissue to pull it apart. We use a product called SAC calcium to get the calcium back in the bones, and we use our humic fulvic to go in and remediate the radiation that could be in the body, the lactic acid, the GMOs, and all the toxicity that's in there. And we do that all gently. So we want to come back to balance. But what happens here is that with scar tissue, it's creating lots of little dams throughout the body. And it's not just blocking your blood circulation, your lymph circulation. Remember that light energy being I said you were? That you're a frequency being? Well, it's also slowing down your frequencies. Okay? So it's lowering your level. And the more that we lower our frequency, the more that we're open up to parasitical attack, the more we're open up to what we would call dis-ease, because we're not at ease, we're not at balance. So I will tell you right now, you have not seen anything yet, okay? You think we've got a problem now? You should see all the emotional issues that we see in people from the 5G and from the blue light in everyone's house, okay? Blue light is totally changing everybody's moods and making them more depressed. I am going to be doing a blue light 5G actual lecture, and it will be done in about 3 or 4 weeks. And when I do this, you're going to be so shocked. But we are also going to give you alternatives that you can protect yourself. And understand something. If you actually believe that your health care is going to protect you, your government's going to protect you, or anyone else is going to protect you, you can forget it. Okay? Your health is your responsibility. Your happiness is your responsibility. All right? So I'm not going to go as long today with this because I'm just kind of a stand-in for the Hope for Cancer show on Doc of Detox. There is something I want to say, and I want to talk about the 4 pillars. So we talked about the 4 pillars in a positive way. Now we're going to talk about the 4 pillars in not so positive. Let me tell you the first thing that's going on. The whole cancer thing's not going to go away. It's going to get worse. The whole pink ribbon thing is going to get more and more, and they're going to want more of your money to find the elusive cure. And you have to understand something. The first thing that we have is of the 4 pillars is corruption. Okay? So if you look at the word cancer, okay, the C, it stands for the 4 pillars. And the first one is corruption. That's what the C stands for, corruption. You have to understand that cancer is the holy grail for the medical system, okay? They don't like anyone else treating it. There is so much money to be made off of it. Okay. And if you really want to take a look at your medical system, I just want to say one thing. I'm not going to go trying to bash them, but where's the love? That's all. Where's the love? All right. And where's their success rate? 2.25% of the population are still alive after 5 years after getting chemo. That's a success rate? Are you kidding me? And whoever dreamed up that poisoning the body would heal it? Seriously. So I don't want to get into that too much. I don't want to get into it at all, actually. And corruption, where's the government standing up for us? Okay? And corruption, I think that everybody's corrupted. Even natural health practitioners are corrupted. There's so much advertising out there and so much fear. Come on. Tell me that you're not full of fear against cancer. I don't fear it at all. I don't. But then I've done my homework, okay? I've mastered my mind. I know that my subconscious is the most powerful part of me, and it's 90% of my brain. I know that my subconscious rules, fools, and schools me. I know that. And I realized that earlier in life. And I've went in and I've pulled out every dysfunctional belief that I got from my parents, my peers, society, okay? And the ones I allowed myself throughout the years. And I took the time to put a little mini me on my shoulder and observe myself and say, whoa, that's not me. That's the old me. 3, 2, 1, I got this. I am everything. I am amazing. I am beautiful. I got this. Oh no, I should be like someone else. I'm unworthy. I'll never get this. Who would ever love me? Sound like anybody you know? I'm not going down that road. So as far as I'm concerned, you know, the corruption on an emotional level is, for some people, they're never going to find their authentic self. They will never allow themselves to love themselves. They might allow themselves 10%. And then 90% of the other part of their heart has to be filled up by everyone else that never are going to do it. And so you have a 90% chance every day of being emotionally out of balance. Think about it. That's all I want you to do. You don't have to believe me. And you know what? And I know that a lot of my discussions upset people. I know that some of the people that get really upset, they actually become our patients and our clients, and they actually turn their lives around. Because the thing is understand something. Why would you want to, look at the way I talk, okay? Who talks like that? So am I expecting everybody to just say, wow, he's such a nice guy. Oh, I like him so much. No. If your beliefs are different than mine, I guarantee you're not going to like me. You're not going to care for my beliefs. But don't throw them in the garbage, because I'm going to tell you something. I'm doing things today I never thought I would do. I'm talking in the way that I'm talking to people that I never thought I would do. I never thought I would ever put myself on the line and say that you need to totally love yourself. You know what? When I started doing that 25 years ago, people were so angry. They were angry at me. They were disgusted with me. They didn't want to even talk about me. They would even take the time to badmouth me because of this. So understand something. What's the worst that could happen if you totally loved yourself? Really, think about this. Think about how programmed the majority is. So corruption? Oh, please. Where do you want to start? Where do you want to start? Take a look at what you do with your spare time. Take a look, because the 5 people you hang around with the most, you are the average of that. Take a look at, do you get on the phone or do you get into conversation and you badmouth somebody, and you allow somebody, or you let somebody talk about how bad their life is so that you can talk about how bad your life is? What are you reinforcing? Okay, so don't tell me that your thoughts don't rule, school, and fool you. Okay? And what we say and what we think really matters. Who we hang around with really matters. What we eat and drink really matters. What we watch really matters. All of this really matters because we already know it creates matter. Ooh, energy creates matter. Isn't that what Einstein said? So there's the corruption. So with all this corruption out there that our society systems that are supposed to protect, respect us are creating, okay, that's the illusion. We get the contamination. The contamination is our mind. We get contaminated with belittling thoughts about ourselves and other people. You know what? We all came from the same creator. whether there's 1,500 different religions on this planet or not. We came from the same creator, we'll return to the same creator. Okay? We are all family, no matter what color, what religion, what language, what type of food we eat. End of story. We're all family. And that's it. We have our earth families, but what about our universal families? So we become contaminated. And remember what I said? You'll have a sick mind before a sick body. And when your thoughts become contaminated, so do your tissues. So now you've got issues in your tissues. And that'll be everything from constipation to cancer. But you know what? Are we taught by medical system and even functional medicine doctors to really take a look and create the perfect day in every way from the minute we open our eyes until we gently close our eyes at night? No. So until your life's not going to change until you decide you want to create the perfect day and then repeat that every day for the perfect life. And until you can understand that you cannot take things personal, you need no one's approval, and it's okay to love yourself, then you'll struggle. And I'll tell you something. I struggle every day. But I struggle for positive things. I struggle in my passion and purpose. When you're struggling, trying to fulfill everybody else's goals and dreams, you will not be at ease. And they call that a disease. Okay? So there's the contamination part. Contaminating the mind, but then contaminates the body. And remember something. Your moods, you think they don't affect everybody else around you? They certainly do. Toxic people, I'm not going to let them be around me. And I'm going to say, you know, you come into my home, you come into my space. Unless you're willing to respect, protect, and love yourself, I can't have you in my space, especially if you're going to live in my home or you're going to be part of my life. If people are dishonoring themselves and disrespecting themselves, birds of a feather flock together. It's like you're going to get some on you. That's contamination. So this contamination that we have, does it cause conflict in your life? So there's corruption, contamination, now conflict. There's 3 of them. So conflict, right? You tell me you're not conflicted. Tell me that when you hear somebody has cancer that you're not conflicted because you don't know who you are. You don't understand that what you think creates cancer or gets rid of cancer. And if I can say this, there's a huge conflict with families, and I call it the family curse. When somebody gets cancer in a family, what happens? Well, tell me that almost not everybody in the family thinks that that person's going to die. Yeah. So now we've got a whole bunch of people thinking that person's going to die because these people are brainwashed, believing that cancer is a death sentence and that we don't have any power. We even forgot that the body heals itself. We forgot that what created us in the first place too. So if you've got a family that's like, I don't even want to go and visit him because when I do, I just think about, oh my God, he's going to die and he's going to leave the kids and I don't know what's going to happen here. And then don't visit them. We need to take positive action. And when people do have cancer, we need to support them. The people who have cancer, that, you know, if I had cancer, first thing I'd do is I'd go to a quiet island down in the south, and I would eat fresh and raw, and I would swim in the ocean. I would sunbathe naked, not get burnt, okay? And I would relax, and I would just live there in gratefulness, and the cancer would just melt away. I would certainly do other things that I know what to do, but guess what? Your environment is everything. Take a look at the environment you live in your home. Is everybody yelling at each other? Are you going out and buying toxic foods, taco chips, dips, ice cream, cookies, crackers, flour products, things with sugar in them? Oh my gosh, tell me we're not going to have a sick nation right now. Christmas just went by, eh? Talk about the chocolate, the alcohol, and all the sugar, and all the cookies, and all the flour. Then we're wondering why the kids are homesick with snotty noses. Well, there's going to be There's going to be boogers coming out of every orifice and hole because we filled ourselves up with poison. That's why. So we talked about corruption, contamination, and conflict. Tell me you're not conflicted when you have cancer. Okay? All right. And then the last C, conspiracy. Oh, we love that one, don't we? Don't you talk about that, Darrell? There's no conspiracy. Oh, really? Well, how could you take something so amazing as the human body and having 80% of the population end up with a disease that is called an autoimmune disease, okay, which cancer is under that as well, and have 80% of the population overweight and not realizing it's unhealthy for you? How can you have people when their core, which is their bacteria, or their abdomen, is sticking out and they look 3 months to 6 months pregnant, okay? And you know that they're the walking death right there, okay? And they can walk into a doctor and he goes, and he hardly even sees their tummy. And he doesn't see that the bacteria that is their immune system is dying. That person is actually dying. And there's not a conspiracy. Oh, and when we give them the toxic drugs that actually kill more of the bacteria, that's not a conspiracy either. Or when we tell them that, the food they eat does not matter. Oh, okay. And that, look at, if you're depressed or you've got something wrong, let me give you this pill here and it'll totally numb your spirit out, that you won't even be able to probably talk. You won't be able to think because you can't live with yourself because you're not good enough. Oh yeah, there's a conspiracy. But remember something. You said that you could come down here to this planet, this life-threatening, fun-filled game, and you could win it. I know you've got it in you. This is why I created the Perfect Day guide. Go to Doc of Detox library and read that. Read The Braveheart Way, okay? It's in Doc of Detox library. I've got emotional counselings in there you can listen to. Why do you think I created the International Training Institute of Health? Because we are going around doing personal treatment and trainings all around the world to people's homes. Sage, one of our master trainers, just got back from Cleveland, Ohio, and we will be putting the testimonial up. He just taught a boy that was 14, another one that's 16, a mother and a father, how to do the deep tissue and work on each other, how to love themselves and each other. What's so bad about that? Okay? Really. The craziest thing I ever heard is, well, this guy's trying to sell self-love. Yeah, I am. I hope you buy it. And you know what? So we will go to anywhere around the world. Sage was in India, okay? Japan. We're off to Florida. We're off to Ohio. We're off to Texas. Oh, actually, 2 of my trainers are off to Australia next week. So we do what we call personal treatment and trainings. We also teach practitioners all over the world. We also have personal treatment and trainings coming here. We have 2 different groups right now in the clinic. Understand something. Until you decide that you want to become the master of your mind, you'll never be the master of your body. Until you decide that love is a self-serve job, then you will be waiting to be loved, to be fulfilled. Let me know if that works for you. I haven't seen it yet. Okay? This is your life. It's a precious one. And this can be a happy life. Trust me when I say this. You know what? You haven't even begun to tap into your potential. You might want to look at my Braveheart training. It's only $97. And it's a lifetime. You can start it, begin it, stop it. It's never leaving. And with the Braveheart training, I'm always changing it. Because as I grow, you're going to grow. Understand, everything that I do, we will do for you. Because we are family, and I'm going to stick to that. I'm also going to stick that you're worth it. You're worth everything. You're amazing. In the Braveheart, you'll find 12 loving steps. And I will be going over that. But let me just tell you what's coming up. Wednesday, January the 16th, GMO interview with Jeffrey Smith. You're not going to miss this. You don't want to. It's going to be explosive. Tuesday, January 22nd, I'm going to be doing Emotional Intelligence, the Braveheart Way. I'm going to be going over the 12 loving steps to release that inner child, to show you that you've been sucker punched and it's okay that you do your own loving and you love yourself and that you become the light for your family and that, you know what? Courage, faith, honor, integrity will become part of your fiber and it will be with you forever. And that health is not a commercial break. And health is not a deep cleanse. Health is the perfect day every day. And that when something emotionally goes on and there's a crisis in your family, how would you like to be able to take positive action and not have a reaction that tears your body apart? So join me January 22nd for Emotional Intelligence, the Braveheart Way. And then on Wednesday, January 23rd, is our New World Practitioner Training. This is a closed training for the people that we train. We train people in Wolfe Deep Tissue, Wolfe Non-Surgical, and Whole Life Coach. Whole Life Coach, you learn everything about what real nutrition is and how to become a trainer and to teach people how to master their emotions. And then we have people who come and take it because they just want to master their life so that they can share it with their families. We have medical doctors, chiropractors, naturopaths, nurses, steel workers, teenagers. Hey, who shouldn't be given the information that will help to empower them to help to change the world? How about everybody? And how about you don't need years? You don't need to spend hundreds of thousands of dollars. Okay, you don't need to be made to feel dumb, because I'll tell you right now, a person can come and take my combined course, which is 21 days, and I will tell you, they will be the most amazing practitioners in 21 days. You are a genius. You are amazing. And my techniques are so powerful. And we give you all the strategies, we give you all the support, and anyone who takes my trainings, we do every 2 weeks, and we're going to be kicking it into every week. We do a 2-hour training for all our practitioners. Understand, if this has been your dream, your passion, and you were told that you don't have what it takes, I'm telling you, come to the table with passion and purpose, and I promise you that you are the practitioner you always dreamed of. Okay? So anyways, check out itioh.com and our courses. Check out the Braveheart and check out the Doc of Detox library. Okay? So I want to thank everybody for joining me. And Dr. Tony Jimenez will be back in 4 weeks. He's in Japan. And I just kind of winged it today. So God bless everyone. And if you really want to see your New Year's resolutions through, okay, then be good to you. Love you. God bless. Have a great day.